Hi, everybody. Oak Oracles. I've decided to move most of the video logging stuff, the personal updates, like keeping you informed with my personal journey over to this smaller channel where I think it probably does better. Also to reveal that there is a method to the madness. I did actually change my name legally recently. I did so on the St. Olaf's Day, and now my name is officially Olaf Knudsen. Olaf Knudsen, I suppose that is actually it's OAK are my initials. Olaf Ask Knudsen, Olaf Ask Knudsen, Knudsen. So that's the name. It's a slightly normcore-ish name. The Knudsen part is a very regular last name, and that was what my father's father was called and his father before him. So I just reverted it back to the paternal line. And kind of dropped my father's mother's maiden name, which is what they've all taken. So I've kind of normally just like restored the ancestral name and also marked a kind of well, literally nominal distance to my birth family, and that's been a relief. Then there's of course the letter O, which takes up a lot of stuff for me. Olaf is a regular name. It's also the main saint in medieval times in Scandinavia, Norwegian king, Saint Olaf. And it is a regular name, but it's kind of a name that's perhaps a bit more common if you're older than me or possibly very young. So it has that ring to it. And then the middle name Ask is both, of course, the sacred tree, the Ask Yggdrasil. It's also the name of the first man in Norse mythology. And together they make the OAK, and that's the oak tree, and that's the sacred tree. And the Tree of Oracles. So it's all coming together. And if you thought I'd gone crazy, well, you're probably right. But at least I've I've done so deliberately, and that's perhaps where, you know, when the going gets weird, the weird turns pro, and I hope to kind of be able to surf these waters of the borderline states of awareness in mind, and be able to bring some of these visions into shape and form, and share them with you. You know, I'd like to shed some more light on what's kind of been going on 2025 in general, but I feel I should also bring it to you in stages and gradually. I don't feel too comfortable where I live right now, but it is a cheap apartment with tall ceilings that I could stretch my body in again. Um, and I'm moving on the 1st of November. I don't know quite where, but to somewhere else in the country, a landscape I'd rather prefer, probably a bit more up north where my peoples come from. Right now, I'm actually in Germany, you know, just a bike ride away from where I live, but I can cross into the border. And so this is traditionally actually a landscape of the north, which is called Schleswig, which is kind of a county which is mixed Danish and German, and didn't belong to the kingdom proper until 100 years ago. So that's another way I feel like I've been circling these borderlands and really visiting a lot of crazy places on the energetic spectrum. It's been quite delightful, but of course I think I've also been closer the latter year to going out of my mind than I feel I've ever been. But now it's kind of earned me a diagnosis, which is interesting. Um, well, partially they tell me that I'm borderline, or I would be if I was in the American system, for instance. It's a bit different over here, but having read up on cluster B family, connecting to my family of origin dynamics and my relationships and everything, and really thought a lot about like how it sounded like the borderline dynamic and emotional life and troubles matched up a lot with my own personal problems. It's kind of nice to have that verified and to be able to navigate in front of it. Though the reason that I don't qualify for that diagnosis in the Danish system is because I'm also schizotypal, and that's in the Danish system. It's called a mental disorder, rather classified as a mental disorder rather than a personality disorder, which means that in like the great card game of diagnosis, it kind of encompasses the borderline too. So I'm just officially schizotypal, which I kind of could have told them already because the things about that have been that it's, magical thinking, me seeing floating orbs, kind of strange and circumstantial use of language, slightly eccentric appearance, and also a tendency to see or experience fleeting states of surreality or disassociation. So all of those things kind of come with the shamanic territory, and this is of course what I'm doing over here. The great relief for me is that I, in that sense, have earned by going through this entire diagnostic process a license to ill. So I kind of have a paper saying that I'm not necessarily suited for human ordinary human company or conditions, and that means that the Danish state and government will be very happy to kind of help me in any way I can to have as much work as I possibly can. So just being a contributing factor, but there's all kinds of systems and ways where they can support you. So besides me being on kind of a minimum basic wage and having been out sick, so having minimal demands now, I'm also finally allowed to earn a little money on the side, and that means that I can, also take the money from this and, for instance, save them up, put them into a deposit, and then I can move away from down here in the southwest, which is flat. There's a lot of interesting bird life, but it's also not too inspiring a landscape in the long run, and it is also kind of incest country, right? Every country has it, but there's just these pockets where it's concentrated, and the energies kind of flow darker, and people who can get away from there tend to do so, and so the people are stuck. They sometimes get up to, yeah, what's hiding in the shadows, right? So like the mood there is also not too nice, and living in that city, I can tell like that my sensitivities are kind of precluding me from channeling a lot of the time. Sundays though are closed as I live on the main shopping street, and that means that it's nice to return to the live streams. I hope you guys will join up. I hope you're taking something from the material still, and I'm so glad that there are people sharing my interest in these esoteric matters and the explorations I do. Um, there are still more things to come. Yesterday, for instance, Braden suggested I channel the element of gold, and I think that's probably on the list there, because that, of course, means that you could have like a several years long project of channeling the entire periodic table, and perhaps not in order. So we'll get to, I believe, I seem to remember gold is somewhere in the 69 or something, like it's pretty high. So let's hope we'll get to some of them a little later. I don't remember its atomic number exactly. So now I'm meandering here, but I did feel that I shared these kind of important practical circumstance of what's going on, and I can just tell you that changing my name has been, it's one of the most psychoactive things I've ever done, and I've done some really weird psychoactive shit. But if you think of your name, your identity, and your name is the shorthand for your entire identity, and your identity is your like it's your interface, it's your operating system, it's what makes you capable of operating in the world, having a body and interacting with it, and you can make that really malleable. That's a lot of what happens in uh, magic and religical practices, mystical practices, but you kind of need to replace it with something else. And so this weird magic trick I'm performing, um, where I'm taking another semantic compound and then I can sort of make an identity which of course encompasses everything that is. So it's, Olaf, Olaf is Mess, but Mess isn't Olaf. So we are him, but he isn't us, and that's the layer, right? The higher level of order encompasses the lower levels of disorder into a form of harmony. So I swear to God, I'm going to be so lucky from here on out. I feel I was born under a lucky star, but you just wait and see the dumb luck that's going to show up. It's some of these interesting tricks I'm trying to perform with it, and of course one of the reasons I can do that is also like that I've dismantled my life so much, geographically, socially, and as an identity, that at this point I'm just playing around with it and trying to piece something together. And I'm also delighted in having a name that's perhaps a little easier to pronounce in English, like Olaf is easier than Mess, which especially Americans tend to do a lot of strange things with that D. So let's say maybe I have gone mad, but at least people will not call me mad anymore, but they can call me Olaf, or you can also call me Mess if you prefer, or whatever you like, as long as you mean well. I plan to channel the goddess Apollo as a surprise. I didn't know if I'd get around to it, but I feel like I've shared the pertinent points here. Thanks for being here and keeping up, guys. And let's just talk to Apollo about what's in a name. Space has been cleared. Wisdom is present. Moistening it is the god Apollo addressing you through these means of communication. All means of communication must bear names. For that reason, understand that a name change is a fundamental readjustment of reality. There is a vibrational readjustment. You ask for the world to accommodate you in a different range of sound. You ask to be greeted, and you introduce yourself, hail the world as someone other. And yet this otherness bears a stark resemblance to what you were before. We sense the body we are occupying is a bit distracted by the rattling of leaves and the possible presence of a serpent or something close to him. This is not an immediate danger, but understand that this sense of presence, attention, awareness, which he is experiencing and funneling my energy through too in this moment. This is funneled and this is moved through the funnel of the name, of the identity, and of the quality that you have assigned to yourself. This is why there is holy names, as well as secular names and profane names. And this is why when you change into something which encompasses both eternity and time in one union. You must have both your sacred and your temporal name, and juggle those as you juggle and sort the sensory impressions of the vitality surrounding you. And so the serpent of wisdom is indeed near. It is within, and it is with a draconic glee, a joy, and a new zest for the unpredictable exuberance of life that the dragons have helped his spirit forge this vibration, this and choose it to drape himself in. And so, what a surprise. Surprises await always for him and you, for your names, new and old. Blessed they are, all of them. I, the god Apollo, I bid you farewell in wisdom, in love, and I bestow a boon upon you, that you may ask your heart for advice this evening, hearing this message, and feel it clearly when you wake up from your sleep. Remember to ask for that answer which you most seek, and you shall have it in the morning. Farewell, dear ones, and be loved and blessed. Higher.